नमस्ते सबैजनालाई म शारदा
मेरा नाम चाहिँ सुस्मिता
मेरो नाम मन्जु
मेरो नाम चाहिँ सबिन।
मेरो नाम नितिशा
मेरो नाम चाहिँ सिर्जना and we are
हाम्रो कथा
Wondrous
Wondrous
Blooms.
Blooms.
And today we're recording our first intro episode.
so happy so let's get started. We can first talk about our origins, about like how we all met and how we formed this group. So I believe it all started when we first signed up for Camp for Emerging Leaders that was organized by Asian Refugees United. And within that, there were three different groups: education, health, and wellness, and identity and belonging. And within identity and belonging, there was a subgroup called storytelling, which I think Manjuditi, Sabin, and Sirzana, you guys were part of that.
Mhm.
And then Nitisa, Nawal, Sarda, and I were through the camp. And then since Nawal was like basically leading both groups, the storytelling group and identity and belonging, that's how we all got to know each other, right?
That's how we met, guys.
Yeah. And Manjaditi, do you know why Nawal isn't here today?
Yeah, so Noel, he couldn't be here today due to, I think, his schedule and some personal reasons, but he will be joining us for our future episodes. And I do want to say that without him, I feel like we wouldn't be here today. So a little credit goes to him for us, I guess, bringing us together, through our identity and belonging group, plus the storytelling group. So yeah, Noel, we miss you and can't wait to see you in our next episode.
Speaking of storytelling, it reminds me of when we were all in the cohort. Storytelling team had done an amazing performance, and it was so heart-touching and powerful that I was literally in tears. I don't know about anybody else in the audience, but I was like in tears.
No, literally me too. And it was not even like the official performance, it was during rehearsals. And I was just like, I remember I was in the front row and I could feel my eyes watering because of how emotional and like amazing the performance was.
I remember forgetting my lines. Sirzana Bunna, that, like, oh my God.
yeah, we were literally singing before the performance. But as we went through, I don't know, when I'm nervous, my voice tend to get louder and clear, but it started to shake. But people said they liked it. And when I got off the stage, oh my gosh, so many people were like, "Oh, you did so good." And there were like some people were crying and be like, "Oh, we can totally help you. You can always come to me," and those kind of stuff.
Damn, you really networked through that event. Which, by the way, for the audience, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, I feel like a YouTuber doing this. Um, so for the camp, after we had split into three groups, we had to create like these little activities for everyone involved in the program. And so it was in August, early August, when we met together in person, and that's when we did our activities. And one of that was the storytelling performing. So that's what we've been talking about.
How was your experience in the camp?
I think the camp was really good. It was really fun meeting a lot of new people and learning a lot of leadership skills overall. And when they were talking about the performance, I also wanted to add, I thought it was really heart-touching, especially Sujana's lines. I was like, wow, like it was really shocking because her voice was so powerful on stage that it moved me and the audience also. So I think that they all did really amazing.
Yeah, I want to add a little bit about that too. I think having, you guys there, I mean, also we had community members who were traveling from different cities to, come join us that day. It was very special. But also, I think having you guys from our group, being in that like front row from the time that we were rehearsing, we were kind of a little bit nervous because everybody could see us like, practice, and we're like, oh, it might not be, so special because they've already seen it so many times. And but I think after the performance and after seeing your reaction, I think it was all worth it, all the nervousness and all the hard work that we've been put in. I think that really, it was worth it overall. So yeah.
And so yeah, we were in identity and belonging and storytelling. And then after the camp, um, it wasn't really required for us to circle back and talk about anything. Like we could have just fizzled out, but I think we regrouped. And Sarada and Nikisa had mentioned about the Mod podcast and how they kind of wanted to do something with, or no, didn't you guys have podcasts as one of these activities within identity and belonging?
Yeah, we did, but I feel like Natisha can give you a better explanation of it.
Okay. So one of the groups, subgroups of identity and belonging was the podcast group, which was basically, I think Sarada and Manju, they were also in the group. We just tried to create a podcast episode there also. Um, and we tried to continue that podcast group after the camp, and Sarada wanted to incorporate the Moth podcast, which is basically where it all basically became finalized through the Mod podcast. If Sarada wants to talk more about the Mod podcast itself.
Yes, of course. So the Mouth podcast is a podcast where a bunch of people share their own individual stories, and there are many genres. Like, it can either be like a funny event in your life, or maybe something really serious, or like, it takes you on a journey of a person's um life. And I thought maybe if we could also do our version of a mock podcast, it would be a great opportunity to for the people in our communities to have their voices be heard and also in a way preserve their history since there is lack of coverage on the Bhutanese Nepali refugees history. And I also thought maybe in a way we could all connect.
I love how you just summed that up. It was so good. And that's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to join too. Um, to give space for, the Bhutanese Nepali people and especially the youth, since no one outside of the community really knows about what being a Lo Shenpai is. So yeah, that was definitely one of the reasons why I wanted to join.
I feel like for me too, my reasons were the same as Susmita and Sarada's. I feel like since most of our history is mostly deleted and not really talked about a lot, I thought it would be a great way to give platforms to other and also ourselves to talk about a lot of issues that our community faces and yeah, shed some light on it.
I had the similar reasons, but a little bit different as well. I wanted to join because I wanted to experience more things to open more opportunities for me, especially. But I also wanted to join because I kind of wanted to be the voice for our Nepali community to give chance to them to speak up and bring their reasons and stories to our podcast.
I also joined because the like podcast to create a space like just like Susmita and Nitisha said, where like people can like share their stories and where like leaders in our community can be heard because like we have like so many great leaders in our community and uh also like upcoming youth to like help them, like to get opportunity.
For me, the reason I joined is because of, honestly speaking, I think seeing all of you guys were involved. And so it was just very inspiring for me. And I just thought maybe being part of this wonderful group of people and this, awesome team. Same reason being, just helping our own community to, have a spotlight to share their stories, struggles, ambitions, dreams, for their futures. And so I think, and just, um, connecting with younger youth through this platform as well. That's what I hope to do with, the support of all our teammates here, and of course, support from the, I guess, I'm Aru team Batapani, and then also from, I guess, the participants that we will be able to, have in this podcast. So yeah.
Yeah, I think those are all very good reasons to join. But I feel like we all just want to bring light to most of our well, not washed down, most of our history that was deleted. So I think we should talk about the background of Lhotshampas. So basically, Lhotshampas refers to people uh, of southern Bhutan, and that's what our families were referred to as because back then our ancestors they were born in Nepal, but then they were brought to Bhutan to help with the infrastructures and for various other reasons, like growing the population, to help with infrastructures and other things, just to come to Bhutan. And then they settled in the southern region of Bhutan. That's why they were referred to as Lhotshampas. But after years of living there, there were a lot of acts put upon them, especially during the 1900s. They couldn't wear Nepali clothing, nor could they speak Nepali. And there was a lot of stripping of one's identity. A lot of them were killed, raped, and their houses were burned, and a whole genocide was going on of Lhotshampas. So they fled back to Nepal, where a lot of them seeked refugee in refugee camps. And that's where most of us were born in the refugee camps. And then from the refugees camp, people were migrated to various countries. We're currently in the United States, but other people migrated to Australia, Switzerland, just various parts of the world. But that's just the basic background of where we came from.
Yeah, there's a really big Bhutanese Nepali diaspora. And like Nitisa said, we're living in the United States. But even though we have found refuge, there's still a lot of people who are still jailed, prisoned, and they're not able to see their families or have not been for many years. And I do know like some groups are still fighting for their justice, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it continues to be an issue. And so that is also, yeah, one of the main reasons why we're trying to bring voice light to that, so that it can be addressed and people um, hear our voices and our concerns and our history.
As Nitisa and Susmita mentioned, the history about like how people after the genocide that was happening in Bhutan, they moved to, I guess not only Nepal, but like I think some I heard from my grandparents and parents that some people also went to India as well. There and then, but I know most of them because I think some of the story goes like India also didn't really accepted them as their own, of course, because our Buddhist people were not born there, obviously, so that's why. But most of them were went to Nepal, and then they were staying in 7 different camps total. I think total of 7 different camps that were in Nepal. And then, so I am from Patri camp. Do you guys want to share your camps that you were born in?
I'm from Timai.
I'm also from Timai.
I'm from Patri camp.
I was born in Timai, then we fled. No, we had to leave Timai to move to Belangi, and then we fled to America.
I'm from Patri also with Manjudiri. Yeah.
Did you guys know each other?
No.
I never went to Patri. I don't know.
We went to like all 7 camps, but when I was like very young, so I I don't know. I don't really have the vivid memories of visiting all camps, but I think Kuznabari, Beldangi, I do have like memories of visiting.
Wow. She's always been a traveler because I was in Timai my whole entire life. Wow.
Well, Nitish, are you from Patri camp too?
Mm-hmm. B2.
Me too.
Where are
Oh
you
my,
from? Patri, but where?
Me and Manju were neighbors.
What?
Yeah,
Wait, but
what
which
sector?
sector? Yeah.
L2.
L?
Yeah,
Yeah.
L2.
That's why you guys take L's. B2.
L.
What?
B2.
L.
That's crazy.
Manjudiri.
And if Noel is here, he's also from, or he was from Sector L. No, I.
He was from I, but it
Yeah,
was close.
Patri.
very close.
I
Yeah.
don't know why so many Nepali people that I meet is from Patri or Kutnabari, but I never heard people who are from Belangi or Timai. Like
There's so many. Like I think every people that I meet, they're always
Wait, which was the biggest camp?
Beorangi, they have like Beorangi 1, 2, and 3. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
you're
Meet my
right.
friends too. That's crazy.
Well, yeah. Nitisa, I'm not Nitisa. Sridhana, Sarda, and we're from A2.
eight
Yeah,
too.
A2.
But I moved a lot.
Oh, oh my God, I forgot. You didn't
I
live
was,
there.
yeah, I was in A2 and then we moved to D3 and then I don't know, they said somewhere and then they moved
So,
back to
yeah.
D3.
So to the audience who don't know the lettering system, when you get demoted, you move a letter below. So Sarth and I, we were always like, placed first. We were the A sector.
I almost believed you.
It goes from
Oh
top
God.
to down, not
I was
first to
kidding.
last.
No, I was kidding. But did anyone get the joke?
Hmm.
That's why I was confused. Wait, say it again.
Demoted is like, she basically said you guys downgraded all the way to
I
L.
Oh my God. Yeah. So from what I remember, I know Sarda was the first one to come to America. Do you want to talk more about that, Sade?
There, I was like around Tampa to Varsity and Mikaunda Katie. And there was like barely any Nepali people here. I think there was like maybe one or two family. And early on, because there wasn't a lot of Nepali people here yet, it we just couldn't receive help with transportation. So we always like relied on the bus for groceries, to go to hospital, for anything really. Um, and yeah, that was challenging, but I mean, I was little, so I didn't really have to do much. But I still remember going to kindergarten and not understanding these gurus and gurus. Yeah, I couldn't understand a single thing, but I just went along with it, and I don't even remember how I even learned English. It was just like following what everybody else was doing. And then I remember eventually Susmita and Natisha also came when I was like in second grade.
Yeah, I think, yeah, by the way, this was in Virginia. And
Oh
I
yeah.
saw Sarda in the neighborhood that we first moved into because she also lived there at the time. I had actually like known her back in Nepal as well because um, I mean we're like related third, second cousin, but also we were neighbors there too, and our sisters were like besties. So we knew about each other, but since we were very young, I don't remember much about it, but I know that I did know you. So coming here, it was like seeing a familiar face, like, oh my God, this is Sarda. And Nidista was with Sarda, so that's how we became friends.
I remember when I first came to America, I was like 7, and then I went into like the second grade classroom, and I don't know who I was with, but I was somebody, and then I was hiding behind them, and then I just see Sarada walking. I was like, oh my gosh, a Nepali person. It was so nice to see a Nepali person amongst like all these Americans. So it felt really relieving, you know. It was very cinematic in my mind because she was like the first person I saw. So it was really nice. But yeah, how about you guys?
Susanna, I think last time we shared about like, I mean, which state we came to straight. Didn't you say you were also from Virginia too?
yeah.
Yeah.
But we didn't go to the same school. We didn't meet each other.
Okay.
And I came pretty late than them.
Kun year aako थियो? 2000.
I came in 2014.
Oh.
So when I got here, there were like lots of Nepali people already. But म आएको स्टेटमा चाहिँ त्यति साह्रो नेपाली थिएन अनि अर्को एरियामा थियो जहाँ चाहिँ ट्याप्पै नेपालीहरू थियो तर मेरो एजको चाहिँ त्यति थिएन फेरि अनि द स्कुल द्याट आई वेन्ट टु लाइक देयर वाज एकजना मात्रै नेपाली सो आई डिडन्ट रियली ह्याड अ फ्रेन्ड and since we were in different district we had completely different school.
Yeah, I never saw Srijana. Well, at least I saw her because I knew she was Susmita's cousin, but I never like really actually talked to her, met her till the camp.
Were you able to make like other, American friends though when you first started school here?
No, it was very difficult for me. I was all alone.
Oh,
Wait, Sabine, what year you came to?
I came on 2015. I came pretty late too. म पनि अमेरिका आउँदाखेरि I was like 13 years old. And well, हामी आएको ठाउँमा म र मन्जु हामी like we lived in same state, New Hampshire. There was like lots of Nepali that time, but I did not have any friends that time because like I only know like Manjuहरूलाई मात्र चिन्थेँ म, Manju and other like some of my like cousins. So but like time उयो हुँदै गए पछाडि चाहिँ like साथीहरू बनाउँदै गएँ. Then I started playing soccer. So that's how I like started making friends and getting more involved in like other extracurricular like activities, and that like helped me a lot. And like that helped me to like improve my English too. And like also like American साथीहरू पनि हुँदै गयो त्यस पछाडि. So yeah.
I know when you mentioned New Hampshire, I think the first thing I think about, I mean, thankfully when I moved, I was, I think 13, because I moved to US when I 2012 in middle school ma. Thankfully I did have enough like Nepali, like Bhutanese Nepali friends. And then plus we were also, well, at least I was fortunate enough to be like part of Be the Change group, Bani Club in middle school and also in high school. So that really helped me to make not only like Bhutanese Nepali friends, but also like international friends or Vanamna who were also refugees from different part of the world, like different countries. And so I think that really helped. I don't know, helped me with my English as well. And I know like maybe first few years it was really hard for me to understand or speak. Like it's I the way I'm speaking right now. Um, but I think it was really nice to have, the friends that I got to meet through sports too. We also had Miss D. She is one, like she used to be social worker for like new American kids in Concord High School. Seven remembers hers too. So
Yeah.
having, one of those adult and also groups like Be That Change Club in the school, like middle school and high school, I think that really helped me and like other friends of mine who are also new to the country back then, to kind of like form connections and just adapt to new culture and new language and new everything. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, also like after graduating from high school, त्यति जेलसम्म हामी New Hampshireमा थियौँ. Then I went to community college in New Hampshire, and त्यहाँ पनि we had like a club, a cultural exchange club. We had like people from like different countries, and we used to like celebrate all the holidays, and that helped me a lot to be like to get to know about their like cultures and share our culture. And I was the president of that club.
Really?
2 years. After that, I quit. I was like, I'm done. Yeah, like we and there was a lady. She was like my mentor, Rosie. She helped me with like all my scholarships, FAFSA, and everything. She's been helping me still. Like whenever I need help with like anything, if I'm like struggling with like finding like a scholarship, because last year I went to Penn State, and because I'm going there right now, because I was considered as out of state because I wasn't resident here. And I went to financial aid office, and they weren't like helpful. So and since she knew like some stuff about the Penn State, she helped me on like scholarships. And I know like she's like far, like she's still in New Hampshire, but like she's like still helping me with like other stuff, like whenever I need help. Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
So, since I have moved from Virginia to Pennsylvania, I met lots of Nepali people and I met friends and I learned a lot of things as well. As I was growing up and I went to high school, I found out there are like clubs and stuff. We could play soccer, join like cross country and stuff like that. I wanted to explore those things as well. I built up so many hobbies through my high school. I joined band
Yeah.
yeah, orchestra, and I joined chorus. I even had piano class. Um, I did outside activities, soccer. Yeah, I had so many hobbies that built up when I was in high school because I didn't get any chance or maybe like to know more about those things when I was little. And I just like tried to fulfill everything that I had. And I'm still kind of doing that, but at that time it was really fun for me, and I was enjoying, and I was building so many I was opening so many doors, like the way I could go. But then I joined this dance class through my high school year, end of the year, I would say. And I even made more friends. It was kind of like a blind shot, but I started dancing, and that's where I got my confidence. And it got me to where I am today. And I met so many friends, and I have so big, I would say, friends and community that support me and help me a lot. And I'm still going, and I'm so proud to be here today in this podcast as well through that.
Whoa,
That
you're
was
so
so nice,
amazing,
Lisa.
Susanna.
Wow, that was so nice. Really happy you were able to like, go from what in Virginia, not knowing a lot of people to coming here in Pennsylvania and having a whole entire like group of people supporting you and you being able to work with them.
Yeah.
I wanted to include something, but it's going to be short, guys. Don't worry.
Go on.
So going off of like our early experiences, growing up in America and transitioning to the American culture, I feel like a common experience that our Bhutanese youths have experienced is like, ba male chitti padi dena vandakari, even when you're like, little enough to read it, but not able to understand these big words and what they mean. And I feel like, when you're little, like in elementary to middle school, you're trying to learn English. You're trying to be better at reading and writing and stuff like that. And then when we get to middle school, we're like busy trying to fit in to the American culture and to these categories that we create in middle and high school. So eventually, when I personally reached a high school, like only in middle or like, near the end of it, did I really reconnect with the Nepali culture and tradition and like, started getting curious and like interested into my heritage and religion as well. And I feel like many other people can also relate.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it was the same way for me. Um, I've always felt like some sort of I always push aside at least our community for me because I've never had like good experiences with the people in our community. So it wasn't really something that I wanted to associate myself with. So I'd always disconnected myself with it. And like Sarda, it was only during high school that I really delved more into our history and our heritage and started going more into our community. And that was one of the main reasons that I join the podcast group. I feel like there's still so much more that I still don't know about our people and where we come from. And I think this is a great way to join. How about everyone else?
For me, I think I would say in terms of connecting with culture, I didn't have this is our Tulu issue with Latina because I was when I moved here, I was like 13 years old. So I was like I guess a lot older than you guys. I know. So and then I also had Sabine's family, with me, and then like my uncle's families are. So it was nice for me to have them around, and also being I guess part of the community. I think the already established Bago community. I think that helped me to kind of keep practicing culture, traditions, holidays, or na. But I guess language barriers, as Sarada was mentioning earlier, like I'm really kati young boy bunny like if you were the oldest one or like the one who was going to school, like parents already kind of wanted your help nita ani I think me being the oldest one who was going to school ani I do have a sister and cousin who were I think when they moved they were like sa it's the age group almost like what 4 to 5 years old, but me being the oldest one, I still remember. Oh my god! And I think this is part of the story that I performed during Ambro storytelling, like where I had to basically we got this like a letter from our neighbor right now, and it was just very. It was not a good letter to read, like your first year being in America and you barely know English, but like just the some of the words that I did know then, I think, I don't know, it was just very traumatic for me to understand even the few words that were written in the letter for, against my family. Ani. But the good side, I mean, good thing that turned out after that incident was the community showed up, So, and I think bringing back to Ambro, this community that we have created as, this podcast group, and, the Aru that we all, came through. I think here pani New Hampshire we did have a large Bhutanese community group. That this month we also got support from, like my family got support from Aru communities बाट पनि like Congolese or जम्मै like त्यहाँ हुने जब New Americans पनि आउनु भएको थियो त्यतिखेर, because it was like a hatred towards my family, and it was all written in this little letter. And I just remember vividly trying to not explain त्यतिखेर, like I think because like almost winter time because the थियो so I was going to school for like a couple months then, and I was able to understand a little bit of it. But I remember not being able to tell my mom what it actually was written, because I could there was like F words like go back to your country. I think that really stuck to me, and I remember including that line अस्ति हामीले क्या सृजना हामीले त्यो performance गर्यौँ नि summer camp मा. Those words were what was written in that letters, and I think that just traumatized me for, I would say, almost 10 years. And I think some part of me did got to heal because of the performance that we got to do through storytelling and also through Aru. So I think hopefully the people who will get to listen to this intro, I feel like I think it will kind of give them a little bit of motivation or some sort of like encouragement that with the traumatic event or why pani, like if you find the courage to share it, I mean, not that you have to, if you want to, just so people who are listening and get to see you can see that, oh, I'm not alone in this one, yeah.
Oh, Manjati, you're so brave. Oh my gosh, it's okay. Oh, you did so good.
I think
Wow.
that's a beautiful message. To
Yeah, and I
turn
feel like,
something,
go
yeah,
ahead.
just turn something like ugly into basically, I don't know, confidence to empower everyone else and say, hey, you're not alone and you can turn this moment into strength. Uh, yeah, I think that's really good. I'm sorry you had to go through all that though, because that's
Yeah, it was
intense at
and
such a young age.
yeah, and that was a huge part of me, I think,
Mhm.
joining the storytelling too in the first place. So, and I think meeting Noel, I think it's, yeah, I would say this year's greatest gift, I think, is meeting Noel, who is also our, lovely teammate. Yeah. So
Shout out to Noel for being the greatest. Oh,
I just wanted to add that I feel like I noticed that depending on like when we migrated to America, um like maybe because like I feel like for us since we came at such a younger age, it was easier for us to at least assimilate because when you're young, you're able to like pick up on the language easier and quicker because your mind is still developing. So I felt like for us it was easier to assimilate, but as we assimilated faster, we like really shut away our society community. But then for like Manjudityaru, Saubin, Sirdanaru, they were like since they came at a later time, they were still more intact with their community, which I think it's a really great thing. And what Manjuli talked about, it's so sad, but I feel like it's an experience every immigrant shares. Um, I've had my fair share of racist comments here and there, especially in high school when COVID was on the rise. Um, it was just a really crazy time, and
yeah, and I was just listening to you, but yeah, no, and I think, yeah, I know one of the reasons for me being on, I guess, with you guys is just so that we can, again, again, honestly, like we can create, this space. I mean, for all those people who still has those traumas within them, And hopefully, I guess even hearing from हाम्रो experience पनि आज हामीले जति पनि share गर्यौँ नि, the good, the bad, the worst and all those traumatic things, a little bit that I was able to share is because I think हाम्रो as a team, I think we're very open to listening, like completely understanding nobody, but in some ways we're there to listen to like each other nita. So I think through Aru and through Amber podcast, I just hope personally that we can get people to share their stories, and in some ways they can feel better or even heal from their traumas too. And this goes to हाम्रो upcoming youth and baba amaru, from our community. Because again, Ogini mentioned just the things that हाम्रो parents, grandparents had to go through, back in the days. They are not able to process your traumas, and it's still very reflective उहाँहरूको क्या अहिलेको current situation पनि. So I think to those of you who are listening, I think hopefully we can have you guys on board and share some of the things that you would like to share.
Yeah, I think that's a really great call to action, Manju Didi, because if you want to share, you can share it through our Moth podcast.
Like we said before, as much as we use this platform to talk about our personal stories and share our experiences, it's also for our community. So if you have anything you'd like to share, whether it be funny, sad, uplifting, anything like that, please submit your story through the Mod Podcast sign up sheet. And then we'd be so happy to talk to you about it, and then let you share that to our audience. So, our future episodes are just like what we just talked about right now about assimilation, our journey from Nepal to America, trying to explore, figure out our culture and how to celebrate that, like going through all our confusing phases. We're going to be talking about those in our future episodes as well. We're also going to be inviting community members. Leaders, they definitely, it would be nice for them to share their voices, but I think it's even more important when, like, people, civilians who are in the same status as us are able to share their story. We're going to have them, and we're also going to be like inviting people from the audience to talk about some issues. Do you guys want to talk about like what issues specifically?
Okay, so for our next episode that we're still working on, it's gonna be on violence against women, where we're gonna be hitting on the violence that happens against women in our community, especially. And then for future episodes, we have a lot of different various topics, problems within our community, like
Patriarchy,
thank you,
toxic masculinity. Yeah.
just a
Caste
lot of great
system.
topics. Yes.
Wait,
What'd
what
you
else?
say?
Caste system.
Yes,
Yeah.
very important.
So basically the taboos.
Yes.
And also like other topics related to like women's, men's, like mental health and the stigma that's surrounding it too.
If you guys have made it this far into our episode, we really appreciate you. Thank you for listening and supporting us. Please be sure. I feel like a YouTuber doing this, but please be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify. Since most of our episodes are going to be uploaded through Linktree, which is going to be on our Instagram bio. So for updates, please follow us. Thank you for watching and listening to our podcast. Until next time, this is
Hamburger Kata, Hamburger Kata,